Dzień dobry, witam wszystkich na moim kanale. Ja nazywam się Radek, a dzisiaj kontynuujemy przygodę ze Stray Gods Musical Roleplaying Game. Moi drodzy, w tym odcinku będziemy się starali doprowadzić w jakiś sposób rytuał Afrodyty do końca, ten czy w inny. Jeszcze do końca nie wiem, jaką decyzję tutaj podjąć, czy ją w 100% popierać, czy jednak może spróbować ją troszkę odmówić od tego planu, który sobie wymyśliła, aby się poniekąd zreinkarnować, czyli przenieść swojego Eidolona do swojej wybranej następczyni. Moi drodzy, zapraszam Was do subskrypcji. W tym momencie to jest najlepszy moment, żeby zasubskrybować, więc zachęcam do tego. A my sobie jeszcze przed rozpoczęciem rytuału sprawdźmy, czy na pewno wszystkie wątki poruszyliśmy z Apollo i też samą Wenus pogadajmy jeszcze, zobaczmy, czy tam coś jeszcze jest do powiedzenia. I Afrodyta nam nie pomoże. No zadajmy to pytanko, skoro już tu jesteśmy.
Not before, you know.
A po fakcie też nam się nie przyda za bardzo już ta rozmowa.
What should I do?
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest,
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
No na pewno Eros może będzie
Doesn't
bardziej
regret it,
szczęśliwy z
or
tego
get
tytułu,
angry at me for ruining her party.
gdybyśmy ją przekonali do
You
zostania.
feel is right. It's a risk either way.
I should get back
Niestety,
after.
decyzja jest bolesna tak naprawdę w ten czy w inny sposób. No ale zobaczmy, co jeszcze Wenus ma do powiedzenia na temat całej tej sytuacji.
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Masz jakieś właśnie wątpliwości?
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happened? Do you feel different?
W sumie w przypadku naszym to troszkę wyglądało tak nagle, zaskakująco i nawet chyba nie było czasu, żeby się zastanowić nad tym, co się odczuwa. To się stało bardzo szybko.
I'm not sure. It happened so fast I didn't know what to think. Calliope died and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
No właśnie.
Just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
Oj, to będzie rzeczywiste, tylko pytanie brzmi właśnie, czy na pewno jesteś z tym okej?
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
Z jednej strony tak, a z drugiej strony, no właśnie, to jest to, co już było poruszane, to jest kółko, które się nie zamyka tak naprawdę nigdy. A właściwie, może powinienem powiedzieć, że jest zamknięte właśnie, że to kółko cały czas robi kolejne obroty, ale nigdy się nie jest w stanie wyrwać tak naprawdę z założonych już w tym momencie przez samą Afrodytę ram. Kurczę, no podpytajmy jeszcze Wenus, skoro możemy. Co ty w ogóle wiesz na temat, a nawet nie tyle co wiesz, tylko jak ty w ogóle poznałaś
How do you
Afrodytę?
know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this like amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So I just went over and introduced myself.
Fair enough.
That's it? Just like that.
A co, przecież to z jej
Yeah.
perspektywy to był zwyczajny człowiek. Może troszkę nietypowo ubrany.
She taking an interest in me instead.
To naprawdę masz na imię Wenus? Dokładnie.
Really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that. Even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
No, może być i tak. Trochę mnie kusi wybrać, że to jest właśnie niedobre tak naprawdę, ale nie chcę psuć sobie tych relacji. Więc myślę, że skończymy na tym fragmencie rozmowę z Wenus. Nie będziemy jej tutaj
This is Lady Aphrodite's big night, not mine.
denerwować. I pójdziemy po prostu już do samej Afrodyty.
Won't it?
Yeah. I guess it will.
No nie brzmi to pewnie, szczerze mówiąc. No nic, rozpoczynamy rytuał. Zobaczmy, co tu się w ogóle wydarzy. Zobaczmy, jakie będziemy mieli okazję do zadziałania. Czy jednak ją odwiedziemy od tego?
I have tried so
Oh.
hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided.
No pressure at all. Nie ma się czym stresować. Ale proszę bardzo. Grace to od razu zadziałała tutaj.
We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong.
Czerwono się robi.
Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene.
Skupmy się tym, co dalej. Albo nie, o dewastacji. Dewastacji jednak się skupmy. Bo to jest bardziej taka... Chcemy się dowiedzieć, co i jak. Nie wiem, czy to jest dobry kierunek, w sumie teraz się zastanawiam, ale to było szybko do podjęcia decyzji, więc...
13 million marching men cut us down forever. But brother Ares made it happen. Joined their war without dispute. Now the once mighty immortals are just mud under a boot. We let them take our loved ones. It's what they wanted all along. We thought they were beneath us. We were all
Na przetrwaniu się skupimy tym razem.
I see you have the power. It's a poisonous reward. My virtues only scorn me when I was once adored. Loved by every mortal, then ripped from paradise. No one suffered greater till he made his sacrifice. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell.
Może na tym się powinniśmy skupić właśnie, żeby jej uzmysłowić, że zapominając cały czas
When it was said to me, he
nigdy go nie uratuje.
with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what
Mam duże wątpliwości na ten temat, dokładnie. O, jaka zmiana rytmu. Czy Teraz my się włączymy w to?
I can see everything. It's interesting why you feel so blue because of the horror show from long ago. There ain't no getting through. A husband who sacrificed and paid the price for you to be free. Wherever he is right now, you'd think somehow that...
Excuse me.
Sorry, I'm on a roll. I don't pretend to know the mind of a god.
Trochę kradniemy jej show, nie? Tak to wygląda.
Never thought I'd say I'm not the only one here who wants to know. Is leaving now the only way to go?
I'm confused.
No, nie jest do końca zadowolona.
Sharing little one, you're 80 years overdue. Now take your seat, you've had your fun. I think you'll find I'm a god. Making note of the staggering lack of help.
No cóż.
And so no matter what you think you know, this ceremony is the only way to go.
Nie, no nie będziemy słuchać Apollo. Nie sądzisz, że powinnaś spróbować? Uderzymy w emocje jednak. O!
To write anything down.
Bardziej taka agresja się włączyła.
Festus in town. Or is history just a record that slowly gathers dust? You gotta turn it up loud so the player doesn't rust. Because I find the story so unique. I'll sing in plain speak. Your rest leaves the rest of your family stressed and depressed. They repress, so we'll only digress. I'm impressed by the sense of occasion, I guess. But this mess of a quest to possess is grotesque. It's happened to me, and I'll never know when Calliope inside of me surfaces. So I request that your guests reassess the process. And unless you address all this godly excess, we'll continue to guess while you repossess. And I won't acquiesce till a change manifests. I'm out.
Wow.
Sometimes taking a breath's the only way to go.
Jestem pod wrażeniem.
Considering the options left, it's the only
Musisz żyć. Nie, ja uderzam w to, że ona musi żyć tutaj.
What is the only way to go?
I'm stunned by the arrogance, but eloquence sparks something in me. If you honestly can promise me all the help I need, I'll be
Ej, chyba ją trochę przekonaliśmy. Z tego tak biorę pod uwagę, biorąc tak pod uwagę te słowa, które tutaj słyszymy.
Thank you, Venus, a brilliant cameo.
And together we will face it, 'cause forgetting won't erase it. Moving on's the only way to go.
Myślałem, że większa drama z tego wyniknie, szczerze mówiąc. Nawet Wenus jest zadowolona z tego. Brałem pod uwagę scenariusze, gdzie Wenus się wkurzy, że nie została boginią. Brałem pod uwagę scenariusz, gdzie sama Afrodyta się wkurzy, że jej przerywamy jej imprezkę. Nie wiem, czy to się mogło zdarzyć, ale...
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to...
Live. I have chosen to live.
W sumie to biedny Eros, ale może przynajmniej teraz... Znaczy, teraz na pewno będzie miał ciężko przez jakiś najbliższy czas. Jak ona będzie przeżywać te wszystkie wspomnienia na nowo. Ale ostatecznie może wyjdzie mu to na dobre.
And I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
Na pewno będą dni, gdzie się będzie narzekało na ten wybór, to jestem przekonany. No dobra, użyjmy naszego czarma.
It's the only way you'll get through it. Together, as a family.
If there's any chance, Mother, any at all, this is it.
I know, my loves. I hope you're right. Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Nie chcę puszczać pana od razu pod pociąg, a z drugiej strony... To zacznijmy od Not Really, bo... To zacznijmy, ja wiem, że nie wrócimy do tego wyboru, ale wolę, żeby nam powiedziała Afrodyta na czysto.
Not really, no. You're the first person I've asked. I'm told you know everyone.
Everyone. Now that's an exaggeration.
You do know everyone, Mother. You're always in their business.
That didn't sound entirely like a compliment, my love. Besides, I'm not the only one who's always in everyone's business, am I?
Tylko trochę w innym sensie.
You're
Eros.
thinking of Medusa, aren't you?
A nie, o Meduzie w ogóle myślimy. Zaraz. Czemu Meduza ma być związana z wszystkimi? Aha, nie, bo oni ją podejrzewają, okej.
Okay,
A czemu?
I'll bite. Why would this Medusa be involved? And why isn't she a suspect?
Mother has always distrusted Medusa.
She works for Athena as a watcher. She's everywhere, lurking in the shadows. If you look anywhere, Grace, start.
Ale historycznie to się Meduza nie powinna lubić z Ateną, bo z tego co pamiętam, to Atena zmieniła tę kobietę jedną w Meduzę.
It's been a long night.
Może się mylę teraz, ale takie mam wrażenie.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
Dobrze, dobrą decyzję podjęliśmy ostatecznie. Wszyscy się wydają zadowoleni. Łatwo nie będzie, ale...
So,
Ale jest okej.
did they have anything helpful?
Maybe? What do you know about Medusa?
I know she's dangerous, but she does Athena's bidding.
How sure are you of that?
I'm not sure of anything any longer. You aren't thinking of seeking her out, I hope.
No tak jakby chyba by wypadało jednak. Jeśli jesteśmy w stanie ją tylko znaleźć oczywiście.
Not really, no. Medusa makes it her business to stay out of sight. Athena employs her as a spy master, a hound to do her bidding, a vicious hound at that. Athena's not likely to tell either of us where to find Medusa. I can't say for certain who would know.
Pewnie pan, znając znowu życie.
Are you all right, Grace?
On jest naszym informatorem.
You seem troubled.
Szczerze mówiąc, myślę, że tutaj możemy troszkę samolubności wykazać, egoizmu i pomyśleć o właśnie wspomnieniach Kaliopy, bo zakładam, że chodzi o to, że no ona też przeżywać to będzie niedługo. Cały ten powrót wspomnień Kaliopy się może różnie skończyć dla jej osobowości. To jest
What you said
straszna
earlier
kwestia.
about Calliope's memories coming back.
That wasn't how I wanted you to find out. I'm sorry. If you like, we can talk about it later at my place, after you've had some time to digest.
I might do that. Thanks.
Ja nie wiem, mi się trochę nie podoba, że on tak stwierdził, że teraz to nie jest dobry moment, w sensie, a może ja chcę teraz pogadać o tym, co?
Amazing, you know that? Every hurdle, every piece of unpleasant news, you just keep on going. I don't know how you do it.
A jaka jest alternatywa? No bo I have no choice. Ale nie, odpowiemy, że
You
jesteśmy
know,
zajebiści. Trzeba się
beauty,
trzymać
youth,
siły
supernatural
słów,
resolve.
mówić sobie,
I got it all.
autosugestie i tak
So it
dalej.
seems. I just wish I could see the world through your eyes. Next to you, I feel very old.
O Jesus, ile mamy... Widzę, że niektóre możliwości są też łamiące serce już w tym momencie. Jesteś stary. Nie mogę ci pomóc. To źle? No, wiecie co, ja tutaj akurat shipuję ich, więc uderzymy sobie w... Pokażę ci, co sama widzę.
How about you come with me sometime? Let me show you the world I see.
A tempting offer.
Sounds kind of corny, huh?
It really doesn't. I would love that.
Ja tylko mam nadzieję, że on patrzy na Grace przez perspektywę jej własnej osoby, a nie przez perspektywę tego, że to muza. Bo to inna kwestia. O, widzę, że do tego też piosenkę będziemy mieli, a czemu nie?
Down for a second. There's so much to like if you open your eyes. If you try to search for the light, you might be surprised. No, it's not hard to find.
On taki tutaj stoi naburmuszony. Lol.
You need to be joyful. It's something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. But I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
I'll take your hand for a minute, though it's more than I feel will I deserve? It could grow on me, this world that you see, yet I've been alive for too long. 1,000 years of learning about
Myślę, że będziemy delikatnie podchodzić do tej piosenki akurat.
Apollo, I'm sure you've had it rough. 1,000 years of life is hard, but easier with someone like me to lean on. The courage you need to be joyful. Something I'll come help you find. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. I'll hold your hand all the way.
Courage you need to be joyful. It's something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in
Dobrze, że wszyscy goście już wyszli, bo by byli lekko zdziwieni. Wyszli dla Afrodyty, a tutaj ktoś inny piosenkę odwala. W ogóle też ciekawie muzycznie to zrobione zostało, bo to on śpiewał wysokim tonem, a takim niskim z kolei. Fajnie to się złożyło. Kurczę, możemy pogadać z panem tutaj jeszcze, Jesus. Znaczy czas, żeby zobaczyć, co pan chce. Może ma więcej info, ale możemy też z Freddy pójść pogadać, możemy pójść pogadać z Apollo. To nie jest takie oczywiste, że musimy iść do pana. Nie wiem, może pójdziemy do Apollo najpierw. Udajmy się najpierw do Apollo. Upewnijmy się, że on wie, że idziemy w odpowiednie miejsce. Może pójdzie z nami do tego pana, no.
Hello again. I can't remember the last time I had guests so frequently. I did tell you we could discuss your memories and the Eidolon more in depth after the party. Did you have any questions or?
To są hard-hitting questions generalnie. Jak często ci się zdarzało umierać i czy będę się czuć inaczej po tym, jak się zmienię? No zapytajmy o to umieranko.
Died. Can I ask that?
Well, we call it passing on, meeting the Eidolon, and it's fine. I've passed on 12 times that I can remember.
12
So your
razy.
name isn't really Apollo.
Jesus, to sporo.
Recently it was Lucas. Everyone Lucas ever knew is gone, however, so these days I prefer Apollo again.
Lucas?
Ma sens w sumie.
Seems weird to think of you as a Lucas.
To też prawda, już się przyzwyczailiśmy chyba do Apollo.
Much like yourself, Lucas becoming Apollo was somewhat of a surprise.
Sounds like there's a story there.
Zapytajmy, bo jestem w sumie ciekawy, co tam się wydarzyło.
How did he become you? Or is it how you
Czy
became
na
Apollo?
wojnie? Nie, chyba po wojnie,
Had
nie?
taken to surfing.
Surfowanie.
He left the city without permission and roamed.
To nie wojna w takim wypadku.
Well, I'm not sure now. Whatever it was, he found it one night when a giant wave took him down. He was drowning, and he thought, I thought, this is finally it. But it wasn't. Lucas saw Apollo struggling and swam out to save him. He pulled us ashore, but it was too late. It took a long time to realize what happened. I didn't return to the city until years later. By then, everyone thought I was Apollo's chosen successor.
Zaraz, ale to jest coś dziwnego tutaj. To jak umarła Kalliope, to Hermes od razu wiedział i przyleciał natychmiast, a jak umarł Apollo tam wtedy, to była cisza i spokój i nikt się nie skapnął. Coś oni tutaj kurde kręcą, ci bogowie, ci idolowie. Coś mi tutaj bardzo nie gra.
So no trial for you?
No właśnie.
It wasn't easy at first, without memories or anyone to guide me, but no, nothing like that.
Trochę to nie fair, szczerze mówiąc. Coś by się stało właśnie, gdyby tam nie było
What would
Lucasa.
have happened if Lucas hadn't tried to rescue you? What if no one was there when you...
When I died, then the Eidolon of Apollo's line would have ended forever, I think.
You think?
There have been stories about Eidolons that survive for a time and go wandering. That's probably all they are, though. Stories.
Ale nie ma Aresa na
It's not
przykład,
something
tak?
we've had much opportunity to study, but normally death without passing on is how an idol really dies.
Okej.
Forever.
Najprawdopodobniej po prostu by zginął, ale nie jest to potwierdzone na 100% w każdym przypadku. Okej.
When all these memories start to
Co z nami,
return,
dokładnie. To z
will I
Grace.
feel different?
Well, let's see. It starts as dreams you'll have of places you've never been, people you've never met, fleeting images, feelings. Then they'll appear while you're awake. You'll be eating breakfast and suddenly recall when you last ate something similar in the 17th century. The only difficult part is that eventually it can be hard to differentiate between your life and all those other lives. They blend together.
A co z osobowością? Bo to jest ważne pytanie.
A little, yeah. And not all the memories will be good ones. It can take time to process.
Czego bym się spodziewał akurat? Nie ma tak, żeby żyć tylko... Nie ma takich ludzi, którzy żyją tylko życie pełne szczęścia. Zawsze ktoś ma jakiekolwiek problemy jednak. Nawet jeżeli są czasami mniej duże, bardziej duże, ale jednak zawsze się pojawiają, no. Nie ma takich po prostu osób
You said it
na świecie,
becomes hard
niestety
to
albo stety.
differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Grace, would you say that who you are is at least in part due to your experiences?
I guess so, sure.
Well, you'll have a lot more experiences. They won't feel like someone else's either. It will feel like you did all those things. They will shape who you are now, just as they shaped Calliope and all those who came before her. The good news is, you won't get all the memories. Each time we pass on, the older memories fade.
Oni się jednak zmieniają generalnie po czasie. Starsze wspomnienia gdzieś tam znikają, plus oni wnoszą do całej tej historii swoje, tam powiedzmy 20 lat wspomnień. To wszystko wpływa na to, że ta nowa postać, w tym przypadku nowa Calliope, będzie jednak znacząco inna od starej Calliope, tak? To nie jest taki do końca Doktor Who i doktor regenerujący się w nowe regeneracje, tak naprawdę. Niemniej wciąż to naładowanie wspomnień nie jest w stanie może tak bardzo wytrzymać w głowie zwykłego człowieka, nawet zamienionego w idola, więc coś tam się musi rozpadać, zanikać.
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
We're many thousands of years old, Grace. If all of those memories returned with perfect clarity, you'd drown in them.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Tell me, how much do you remember from when you were a small child?
Bits and pieces, I guess. Not much.
It's the same for us. The further I try to think back, the more blurry it becomes. I remember the important bits, but little else. Some of the really old memories. There's so many mortal stories that get mixed up with them, things my previous selves learned as legends. It becomes hard to tell. It takes time, Grace. You'll remember all the lives you've led, but at a pace you can handle, and nothing more.
Dobrze przynajmniej, że to tempo jest takie sensowne, a nie jakieś, wiecie, na połamanie karku.
It's a lot to consider. Assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
I know you were upset about the idea at first. Has this helped at all?
Maybe a bit.
Good. I'm glad. Anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
W sumie coś na temat idolów
I'd like
możemy
to
się
know a little more
dowiedzieć?
about the idols. I am one now, right?
You are. What would you like to know?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
The short answer is, we don't know.
To jest smutna
I
odpowiedź.
think far enough back I can remember bits and pieces. I remember my first Pythian games, the day the idols split in two over Troy, the day my first son died. But before that, nothing. None of us do. I vaguely recall the very first Apollo many thousands of years ago, but was he the original? Did he appear out of the ether? I couldn't tell you.
No zadajmy to pytanie, ono jest trochę agresywne, w sensie jak można nie wiedzieć skąd się jest, ale...
Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
To prawda.
Interesting. The notion that there might be some other place far away where we're the norm is comforting. Sadly, our memories are filled with blanks. There was a war with beings we called the Titans. A terrible conflict where half our number died, yet do I remember a single battle. The last was after Rome fell. Zeus called us together to relay the news, told us to prepare for battle. And then, in the blink of an eye, I was in the 16th century. What made us forget 1,000 years? What happened during that time? We don't know. Athena calls that period the gap.
Kurde, ciekawe co tam się wydarzyło faktycznie, że nie pozapomnieli akurat taki okres czasu. Coś więcej na ten temat? Bo to akurat jest ciekawe faktycznie.
What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...
I know I was alive. I passed on my idol on who knows how many times, yet the moment I woke up, as you call it, all memory of that period was gone. It was Athena who found us. I was in France, I think. She came to my farm, and the moment I laid eyes on her, I just knew.
To może Atena faktycznie coś tutaj zmajstrowała, skoro no była pierwszą do znalezienia, pierwsza trzyma zasady i w ogóle.
Scattered to the winds for 1,000 years on purpose. It's a mystery.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena claims she awoke on her own and spent the next century locating the other idols. We've pieced together very little of the gap or of our origins. We simply live with it. Gods we may be, but I'm afraid we don't have all the answers.
Dobra, ale właśnie mówił o tym, że miał syna.
Earlier you mentioned your son dying. Did I hear that right? Can idols have children?
It was rare, but yes. Back in ancient times, some of them even became idols themselves.
Some of the idols are actually family then.
No właśnie, przecież nie było mówione, że przecież nie są rodziną i tak dalej.
Most of our children met terrible ends. A gift of the fates, perhaps. I don't know. The ones who weren't idols. It's hard. Watching your children grow old and die. Never understanding why they can't have the same immortality you do. Why you can't grant it to them. My first son is why I'm not permitted in Hades any longer. Let's simply say that most idols have stopped having children and maybe leave it at that.
Okej, to jest coś, co skoro to trzeba zostawić, ale to jest trochę interesujące. Coś więcej na temat wojny się
Tell me more
dowiedzmy.
about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
I don't think we would have left the old world otherwise. It was home.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
I caused it.
Uuu.
I foresaw what was going to happen, so I tried to prevent it. I told Ares.
A w ten sposób spowodował.
If the god of
To nie
war
spowodował,
comes
tylko
to come, then
And that's why he betrayed everyone.
he decided the idols were a lost cause. Because I told him we were.
Prophecy suck, yeah. Przepowiednie kompletnie ssąpałe, to prawda. To się i tak mogło wydarzyć, to prawda.
Surely it could have happened anyhow. It was a big war. The biggest.
Perhaps. We'll never know, will we? My time afterwards was spent helping the survivors, keeping us on the move. If Hephaestus hadn't intervened, we would have all been captured.
And he's...
Oh, gone now, we assume, like so many others. We are nothing more than refugees from a war long over, Grace.
Coś więcej o Kalliope dowiedzmy się
Tell me
jeszcze w
more
takim
about
wypadku.
Calliope. You and her were.
Apollo ma zaskakująco dużo do powiedzenia w tym konkretnym momencie.
For centuries, we were far more. I was the god of the arts, and the muses were my constant companions. We went everywhere together. They had many names, but the three most common were Cleo, Talia, and Calliope. The sisters of beauty, I called them, though they weren't always women.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender?
Właśnie, w sumie faktycznie.
Most of us seek out inheritors
Przecież
who
chyba,
are like us, I suppose, but not all.
skoro do każdego człowieka mogą przekazać tego swojego
Our previous incarnation.
idolona, to
Christoph, I think his name was. A poet Calliope adored. I was surprised when she made him a muse.
tak nie można. Tak technicznie rzecz biorąc, to można było swojemu dziecku nawet przekazać. Z tego co rozumiem teraz po tej rozmowie, tę kwestię bycia idolem i w ten sposób uratować przed śmiercią, nie? Albo właśnie wydać wyrok. Ciężko to powiedzieć. Kim była Calliope po
Who did
Christophie?
Calliope become after that poet, Christoph?
You have to realize we're already into the period where Calliope and I weren't really speaking. She showed up one day in her new form, the one you met. An opera singer whose name she never revealed. We fought, as I recall. I told her she couldn't pass on every time she met an artist she fell in love with. Eventually she'd forget everything about who we were and where we came from.
Aha, Calliope miała bardzo ciekawy, specyficzny sposób działania.
When old memories like I or the other idols were doing. It was time to wake up and make the best of our situation. Calliope was an idealist without compromise. Always. She hated what we'd become. What I'd become. She wasn't wrong.
No ale jeżeli ona też po prostu uciekała się do tego, żeby oddać się, jakby oddać swoją tą duszę, nazwijmy to w ten sposób na razie, dla potrzeby tej sytuacji innym osobom, to też poniekąd można powiedzieć, że uciekała tak naprawdę, a nie, że walczyła jakoś specjalnie, więc taki to trochę stąpanie po kruchym lodzie.
From how you describe it, you and Calliope fought a lot.
As often as we saw each other, which became less and less as time wore on. However, she fought with everyone. Calliope hated the idols being kept secret. She and Athena would get into screaming matches over the rules, and it got so I could no longer protect her. She moved out of Olympus years ago and kept to herself. I just assumed she was wrapped up with some new artist when I got the news.
Do you regret not making up with her?
Every day I think about our last conversation and what I should have said or done differently. The problem with immortality is that you think you have all the time in the world.
I żeby coś, ale będziesz miał koleś jeszcze okazję się, że tak powiem, pogodzić poniekąd z Calliope, skoro Grace ma niby przejąć jej wspomnienia i tak dalej. I przyswoić je sobie. Były jakieś dobre
It
rzeczy
wasn't
związane
only
z
fighting with
Calliope.
Calliope, right? Surely there were good things too.
Is that how it sounds? No. She was marvelous. A force to be reckoned with if there ever was one. In the darkest days during the war, it was her songs that gave us hope. She kept Aphrodite alive through sheer determination, I think. Calliope cared. About us, about art, about people she'd only just met. It was her greatest strength as well as her greatest weakness.
I wonder why she picked me. I don't feel like I'm any of those things.
You underestimate yourself, Grace. I see a lot of her in you. She chose well.
No, pytanie brzmi, czy faktycznie wybrała, czy po prostu była w takiej sytuacji już, że nie miała wyboru. Właśnie nie miała wyboru, bo musiała komuś oddać po prostu swojego idolona i tyle. A co z innymi
What happened to
muzami?
the other muses? You mentioned two others. Were they lost in the war?
Cleo perished centuries before, the victim of an obsessed writer she'd spurned. He kept her in a cage as his personal muse.
O Jesus.
That's pretty dark.
It was. By the time we found her, she was already... Well, it's enough to say her captor didn't survive her for long. Talia, however, was lost to us on the very last day of the war. We were about to leave on the ship, but she just never showed up.
Do you know what happened to her?
We never found out. I worried for years, even hired people to look, but as far as I can tell, she up and vanished into smoke that day. The war had ground her down. I was
Trochę
upset.
brzmi, jakby ta Talia miała się pojawić niedługo w tej historii. Znaczy nie, że niedługo, ale w ogóle przynajmniej w tej historii. No dobra, zobaczmy jeszcze
I'd
co na
like to know
temat
a little
samego
more
Apollo.
about you. All I know is you live in a dump, you have an oracle, and you...
I'm not sure what to tell you. One day has bled into the next for so long, I feel like I've been lost in the spaces in between.
Wow, that's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally. Music and the arts were once under my purview as a god.
How did that get decided? Did you have a big hat full of pieces of paper and you all picked at random?
Tak, dokładnie tak to wyglądało, jestem przekonany.
Chose them for ourselves. Some, at least.
Ciekawe, czy ktoś się
Others were
kłócił
given
w
to us
takim
by our
wypadku
priests. We
o
collected godly
swoje strefy
responsibilities like
boskości.
marbles.
People collect marbles?
Oh, or whatever it is mortals collect these days. Cars, perhaps? The point is, we took our godly duties very seriously.
Właśnie, jaki
You
byłeś
must have been very
jako Bóg?
different back when you were a proper god.
I think most of us were. We saw ourselves as, I don't know, teachers. Mortals were our students, and we guided them to enlightenment. We thought we were special, infallible. I was as magnificent as the sun, and I surrounded myself with those who basked in my radiance.
That doesn't sound like...
Narcystyczni też byli mocno, no, ale trudno się dziwić, byli bogami, wtedy takimi full.
If there was a man or woman I desired, then I had to have them, or there would be consequences.
Jak Zeus.
You wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have liked me.
Persefona jest taka
So what is
wściekła właśnie.
Persephone's beef with you exactly? Is it just about what Hades did to her?
That's no small thing.
It seems more personal than that.
I mentioned how Persephone's kidnapping almost meant war between Olympus and Hades, yes? Well, while this was all going on, Persephone managed to escape the underworld, and I'm the one she encountered first.
Uh-oh.
Hades was hot on her heels, and I had a choice. Either do battle with Hades and start the war right then and there, or let him take her back.
No to chyba wiemy, jaką opcję wybrał.
Zeus would have had my head if I had sparked a war. Yet all I still think of are Persephone's eyes as Hades smugly took back his prisoner. It's not my finest moment.
Jak się żyje 1000 lat, to trudno nie mieć bardzo złych momentów w swojej historii, nie ma co ukrywać. To myślę, że... Oczywiście nie ma co tak po prostu wybaczyć za takie rzeczy, ale da się to przynajmniej zrozumieć. Próbowałeś kiedykolwiek pójść na
Apollo,
terapię.
have you ever tried, I don't know,
My to
talking
Afrodyta
to
mówiła,
someone
że
about
próbowała na przykład.
how you feel?
I will never understand this modern fascination with therapy and focusing on one's feelings.
It might help. You never know.
Yes, I've tried it. There was one I used to speak to. Hecate enchanted him never to reveal what I told him. It was interesting. Frankly, my time with you has proven far more beneficial.
I'm not a therapist, Apollo.
Generalnie mówi się, że trzeba przejść przez kilku terapeutów, zanim się znajdzie odpowiedniego dla siebie. Więc nie dziwi mnie to, co mówi Apollo.
It makes me happy just to know you, Grace.
Ale czy było ciężko przybyć do
Was
nowego
it hard
świata?
for the idols to come to the new world? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
I don't think it was the place so much as the condition we were in. Shell-shocked, one might say. Our entire world had been turned upside down. Suddenly, we had rules. Secrecy was paramount, and no one was permitted to leave the city. Some, like my sister Artemis, couldn't abide it.
A, co się z nią
Yeah,
stało?
I've heard the name.
Goddess of the hunt. and a wild thing herself. She left, I think.
O,
Faded away without a word. As many did in the early days here. Huh. Later, Athena became even more strict. For our own good, of course, but it hasn't been easy. This city has never felt like home so much as a temporary shelter.
ale taki tymczasowa ochronka to raczej by sugerowała, że jakieś są plany, żeby robić coś dalej, a tu nie wygląda na to. Tu wygląda tylko na to, że ludzie chcą trzymać, znaczy idole chcą trzymać status quo.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around.
Kurczę, tu na 45 minut już gramy, moi drodzy. Ta rozmowa nam trochę zajęła. To jest, myślę, dobry moment, żeby jednak skończyć ten odcinek w tym miejscu. Jesus, nawet nie wiedziałem, że tyle ta rozmowa za polo trwała. No nic, moi drodzy, mam nadzieję, że wam się taki przedłużony odcinek podobał. Jeśli tak, to zostawcie może nawet lajka pod tym filmem. A co? Tak jakby to na YouTubie miało znaczenie w tym momencie. Tak czy siak, jeżeli wam się podoba seria, a tego jeszcze nie zrobiliście, to kliknijcie subskrybuj w tym momencie, bo to jak zawsze jest fantastyczny moment, żeby kliknąć subskrybuj. Dzięki za oglądanie i trzymajcie się ciepło. Hej!